Across the world's densest forests, beneath tangled roots and towering canopies, lie discoveries so disturbing they were never meant to be found. Hidden for decades, sometimes centuries, these secrets blur the line between reality and nightmare. These are not just stories. These are real discoveries that left experts speechless and, in some cases, terrified. Welcome back to the Insane Top 10 Vault, where the truth is darker than fiction. Today, we're uncovering the top 10 gruesome discoveries lurking deep in the world's forests. Let's unlock the vault, if you dare. Number 10. Deadly booby traps in Utah's forests. Deep in Provo Canyon, Utah, a forest officer walked a popular hiking trail in 2012. He spotted thin wires stretched across the path. One trap held a 20-pound rock covered in sharp spikes. It was set to swing down like a hammer at head height if someone tripped the wire. Another trap hid a pit full of pointed wooden stakes ready to stab anyone who fell in. Two young men built these deadly devices near a small shelter made of branches. They claimed the traps were for animals, but the trail was busy with hikers and families. No one got hurt because the officer found them in time. But picture yourself hiking there alone. Would you see the wire before it was too late? Forests can hide more than trees and animals. Number 9. The Clocaenog Forest Man in Wales. In November 2015, two brothers camped in Clocaenog Forest, Wales, before a big car rally. One went to gather firewood in the dark. His torchlight hit something on the ground. It was a human skull covered in moss and hidden by thick bushes. Police came and found the rest of a man's skeleton nearby. Tests showed he was murdered and dumped there years earlier. He was in his 50s, but no one knows his name or who killed him. The bones were scattered and partly buried by leaves and roots. Detectives still search for clues like his unusual teeth. It is a cold case that reminds us how easy it is to hide a body in a thick forest. Number 8. The Bolney Torso in English Woods. A man named Colin Oliver walked home through woods near Bolney, England in 1991. He stepped off the path to go to the bathroom. In the undergrowth, he saw a bloody bundle wrapped in old carpet. Inside was a man's torso with no head and no hands. The body had been cut up and left there to rot. Police never found the missing parts or the victim's name. The killer had tried hard to hide who the man was. For over 30 years, the case stays unsolved. Imagine stopping for a quick break in the woods and finding something so horrible. Would you ever feel safe walking alone in the forest again? Number 7. The Lava Lake Trapper Murders in Oregon. Three fur trappers spent the winter of 1924 in a lonely cabin by Little Lava Lake in Oregon's Deschutes National Forest. Edward Nichols, Roy Wilson, and Dewey Morris set traps for animals and cared for foxes. One day they simply vanished. Their cabin looked normal, with food still on the table and guns inside. Months later, searchers found the men's bodies under the ice in the frozen lake. Each man had been shot and beaten with a hammer. No one ever proved who killed them. The murders remain unsolved after 100 years. What could make someone kill three men so deep in the snowy forest and then sink their bodies in the lake? Number 6. 8 skeletons scattered in Florida's Melaleuca forest. In 2007, workers in a Melaleuca forest near Fort Myers, Florida, found something shocking. 8 human skeletons lay scattered across a small area of about 200 square yards. Skulls and more than 1,000 bones hid under roots, leaves, and plants. Some bones were pulled from the ground like trash. Police still do not know who the people were or how they died. The remains were close together, as if dumped in one secret spot. It looked like the work of a killer who returned many times. The forest kept the secret for years until those bones finally came to light. Number 5. The Mayan blood altar in Central American jungles. Deep in the thick jungles of Central America, scientists found an ancient Mayan stone altar. It was built to collect blood from human sacrifices. Sharp obsidian knives and offering bowls lay nearby. Bones and blood traces showed people had their throats cut or hearts removed right there. The blood ran down the special channels into the earth as a gift to the gods. Around the altar, hidden caches held more human bones. This gruesome discovery proves how deep in the forest people once performed terrible rituals. Would you explore an old jungle ruin if you knew what once happened on its stones? Number 4. Clocaenog Forest Massacre Graves in Russia. In 1943, soldiers discovered huge mass graves in the Clocaenog Forest near Smolensk, Russia. More than 20,000 Polish officers and leaders lay buried there. They had been shot in the head and thrown into pits during World War II. The forest hid the bodies for years under trees and dirt. When the graves opened, the world learned of a terrible crime. Bones and uniforms still filled the deep holes. This discovery shocked everyone because it showed how forests can swallow the evidence of mass murder. The trees grew quietly over the dead for decades. Number 3. Bodies of suicide victims in Aokigahara Forest, Japan. Aokigahara Forest in Japan is known as the suicide forest. Every year, searchers find dozens of bodies hanging from trees or lying on the ground. Some have been there so long they are only bones and clothes. Notes and personal items lie next to the dead. The thick trees block light and make the forest feel silent and dark. Teams of volunteers walk the paths looking for fresh bodies to give them proper burials. The gruesome sights include ropes, plastic bags, and remains eaten by animals. Even today, new bodies appear hidden among the roots and leaves. Number 2. Satanic cult evidence and bones in Freetown State Forest, USA. In Freetown Fall River State Forest in Massachusetts, hikers and police have found signs of dark rituals for years. Animal bones, bloodstains, and strange altars appear in clearings. In the 1970s and 1980s, real murders linked to cults happened there. Human remains and ritual objects turned up in the woods. People reported seeing headless figures and strange fires at night. The forest earned the name Bridgewater Triangle because of all the scary events. One discovery included bones strung from trees like warnings. It feels like something evil still waits deep between the trees. Number 1. Hundreds of rotting bodies in Georgia's woods. In 2002, workers near a crematory in Noble, Georgia, walked into the woods around the property. What they saw was a nightmare. More than 300 dead bodies lay scattered across 16 acres. Some were piled like trash. Others rotted on the ground or hid in thickets. Skulls, fingers, and whole corpses in different stages of decay filled the forest floor. The family who ran the crematory had simply dumped the bodies instead of burning them. The smell and sight shocked investigators. It took months to remove all the remains. No forest has hidden a more horrible secret than these hundreds of forgotten dead lying under the trees. Some secrets are buried for a reason, and maybe they should have stayed that way. Which discovery disturbed you the most? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. If you enjoyed diving into the darkest corners of reality, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because here at the Insane Top 10 Vault, we don't just tell stories. We expose what the world tries to hide. And trust me, this vault still holds many secrets you're not ready for. Until next time, stay curious and stay cautious.